Hi again then guys, and so we've got another Special Projects replica tune for you today, and this time it's a track focused replica of the Maserati GranTurismo MC GT4 race car. This is a lower powered racing car compared to some of the other replicas I've done, but still a hugely competitive and great car to drive. So I haven't done all that much to it visually because there's not all that much that you can do, but I'll show you first of all what I've done to it visually, then of course go over to the garage for the mechanical setup, and finally take it out to the track to see how it performs. So it's actually a pretty simple visual setup on this model, pretty much just fit whatever parts are available really. So we've gone for the Type A body kit, which predominantly adds this chin splitter at the front. We've gone for the flat floor, of course, which completes the look of the MC GT4. It also gives you a slightly higher PP and, of course, more grip. For the rear wing, we've gone for the special ducktail wing at the back, which again is very much like the MC GT4 race model. For the rims, we've gone for inch up 1, and then I've gone for these Enki RCT4 rims. I have not fitted any additional meters. That's just down to personal preference, though. I can completely understand if you do, because obviously it is a racing model. As far as the paint colours itself, there is some room for change and variation here, because the car itself is of course white, the rims are black. So white is white is white, black is black is black, so you can pretty much just go for whatever colour you want within reason, within those parameters, depending on how accurate you want it to be. Now I've gone for Grand Prix white. Technically, of course, the most accurate white would be the white that comes with the car when you buy it. And for the rims, I've gone for the same black that I usually use, which is Phantom Black, which comes from the Chaparral VGT car. And for the brakes, I've shown a little bit of variation here compared to the real one, in painting them, of course, blue. I've gone for Racing Blue. And the reason why I've gone for that is quite simply because the racing livery fitted to the MC GT4 is predominantly, of course, black, white and blue. We don't have a livery editor, so basically I've just painted the brakes blue to kind of make up for that lack of blue in the body itself. So again, you don't have to do that, I've just done that kind of as an accenting colour to bring out those kind of iconic colours of Maserati. So that's it for the visual setup. Like I said, pretty simple really. So now let's go over to the garage for the mechanical setup. So for the mechanical setup on this particular model, you want your racing soft tyres. As far as suspension, we've lowered the ride height to 100, front and rear. Springs we've got on 1025 and 1325. Dampers to 6, anti-roll to 7. Camber on 3, front and rear. Neutral toe as usual. For the gearbox, we've got an auto setting of 180. Then we've rounded off the individual gears to 4140, 2830, 2080, 1600, 1300 and 1100 with a final drive of 3.2. For the diff, low initial torque, acceleration on 40 and braking on 20. As far as the power, we do have an oil change, so you need to bear that in mind. We've got the sports exhaust and then reduce the power down to 94.4% to bring us up to the real power of the MC GT4 race car. You want the full weight loss package, and then we've got an 80 kilo ballast, which we've put all the way to the front of the car, both to bring us up to the same approximate weight of the MC GT4, also to give us a perfect 50-50 weight split, and of course to bring us down to quite nicely sit in the 540 pp category. And of course you want your downforce set to the maximum. So that's it for the mechanical setup of this car. Now let's take it out to the track to see how it performs. Now the MC GT4 is of course predominantly a racing model, whereas many of my replicas tend to be more about having fun. This one is of course strongly related to being competitive. And I have to say, I was kind of worried about how competitive this car would really be. Because as much as I love the Maserati GranTurismo, and I really do love the car, and I love Maserati as a company, it's not one of the most respected performance cars in the game. It's kind of heavy, and not as fast as some others for its power. It kind of gets overshadowed by the Lambos and Ferraris. But I was pleasantly surprised by just how good it actually is at this level, because at the 540pp category it's actually much more competitive than when you fully tune it, because when you fully tune the car, the rivals that you're going up against are generally quite OP vehicles like the Tomicara ZZ2, etc. Whereas at this level you're going up against cars which are more legitimate rivals, stuff like the 430, the Italia, the Gallardo, etc. Actual proper rivals for this car. Now, I'm still not saying that the car is going to beat everything that comes up against it, but it is certainly more competitive than I was realistically expecting it to be. I knew it would be fun and great to look at and great to drive, but as it happens, it's actually really quick as well. It can get around the Nuremberg Ring in around the high 640 region with me driving. As I've said before, I'm nowhere near the fastest of drivers on this game, so with a driver who's better than me, you could easily get this car down around the 630 region, which for the 540pp category is seriously rapid, especially for a car that's only got, at the end of the day, 450 horsepower, which isn't all that much for a race spec model. But overall, if you've got a Maserati GranTurismo and it's just gathering dust and you're looking for something to do with it, I would strongly suggest that you give this tune a try, at least on one of your setups, because it's the kind of tune that if you have it, you can pull it out in those times where you need something or want something that's just a little bit different, and it happens to actually be really competitive as well, and really fun, and a generally underused model. So, if you decide to use this build, I hope you find it fun and, of course, competitive. And if you're new to the channel, or just found this helpful in general, I put out replicas like this every week, various other tunes as well, and car reviews, etc. So feel free to subscribe if you did find this helpful. And as always, thanks for watching.